All right, we're going to be talking about light and sound today, kids. Light and sound are incredibly similar, yet incredibly different. They are both what's called waves, but how they travel and how they work are incredibly similar, but incredibly different. I titled today's a poetic reading because that is what I'm gunning for. Okay? Light is a type of energy. Okay, it is part of what's called the electromagnetic spectrum. What that means is it's light that travels in waves that can vary from incredibly small to incredibly big. Light, what we see as the visible spectrum, can travel through empty space in some kinds of matter, but it cannot travel through a wall. It can travel through air, it can travel through water, but it has trouble passing through things that are fairly dense. And we're going to talk about that here in a little bit. Light comes in a wave. We're going to look at this in the next slide. But it is part of what's called the electromagnetic spectrum. And the electromagnetic spectrum has a lot more on it than we think. Okay? So here are two different pictures, I guess, of the electromagnetic spectrum. All right, they are actually inverted, which kind of drives me nuts, but it's okay. All right, so over here we have really long wavelengths. Okay, and over here we have really short wavelengths. All right, and what that means is um, it basically deals with the frequency of the light wave. Okay, and if you see here, the visible light spectrum that we see is actually an incredibly small part of the electromagnetic spectrum. All of these things should somewhat be familiar to us. Like we have X-rays, which travel through skin really well, not so well through bones, which is why we see them. Gamma rays, if you're a Marvel fan, you know that these are what caused Bruce Banner to be turned into the Incredible Hulk. We'll get back to that, all right? Microwaves, somewhat the kind that like help heat our food, but they also transmit information. Mobile phones, basically like what we would call cellular signals, are part of the electromagnetic spectrum. We can't see them, right? And if we could see cell phone, that would probably terrify us. Also, if we could see Wi-Fi, that would also be terrifying. Wi-Fi can go through walls. Light, visible light, cannot go through walls. Okay, radio and television, they can go through walls. They can go through the sky. Some of them go quite far. All right. Here we have this with increasing frequency going this way. This one is increasing frequency going this way. All right. So here we have gamma rays, X-rays, UV rays, or what we call ultraviolet. This is the kind of stuff that helps, or actually doesn't help, actually prevents or causes skin cancer. UV light or ultraviolet light. And here we have infrared. Ultraviolet means higher than violet. Infrared means lower than red. Red is the lowest. Ultraviolet is the highest. IR or infrared cameras can essentially can show us how heat happens, which is a big deal. Our eyes cannot see that, but some animals can, and then we have cameras that are able to capture these things. Wavelength. Okay, this is important if we look at the last slide. A wavelength is the distance from the crest of one wave to the crest of the next. This is the wavelength. Some wavelengths can be incredibly close together. Some can be incredibly far apart, like meters apart. And that would be like AM radio or FM radio have very long wavelengths that can actually travel a long ways. The shorter a wavelength is, typically the shorter it travels, or the smaller distance that it travels, right? Reflections. This is how we see light, okay? Reflections happen when all or part of light bounces off an object, okay? A mirror bounces back almost 100% of light, which is why we use it to tell what we look like, how I do my hair every day. That's kind of a big deal, all right? The color that you see an object is the light that bounces off. For instance, if you see a green leaf, okay, which the leaves or the trees are starting to get leaves, all of the other colors are absorbed by the leaf and the green bounces off of them. So that's what we see. So if you see something that is red, all of the other colors are being absorbed and red is bouncing off. Here we have something called Vantablack. And if you remember, we watched a video on this, and Vantablack absorbs so much light that it's hard to tell the texture of this. Okay, for instance, we see all that this tinfoil is all crinkled, but if you look in here, it's hard to tell what shape the tinfoil is in. I am assuming that it looks like this, but it looks flat. It looks essentially like it is a hole. Okay, that's what Vantablack is. It absorbs over 99.5% of light. All right. Now, refractions are ways that light is bent. And light is bent by changing the distance that it has to travel through, or basically it's slowing light down. Okay, if you look at this glass, you can see the straw right here. But if you look right here, it appears as though the straw is here and that straw is not connected. That's weird to us because I'm pretty sure I've drank from a straw. Save the turtles. Okay, but this would be an unconnected straw. That doesn't make any sense. We know that this straw is connected, but the light slows down in water. Okay, so that's why we see this as a bent straw as opposed to this right here. Now, we can harness this power with our glasses. So, like the glasses that I have an astigmatism, which means the lenses that are in my eye are slightly rocked to the side. So I see kind of just everything blurry. My glasses bend that light so that when the light hits my eyes, I see a clear image. Okay? We use this in camera lenses, we use this in microscopes, and we use this in telescopes. If you've ever seen somebody taking a picture and they have an incredibly long camera lens, that lens is able to bend light so they can stand far away but get a picture as though they are up close. All right? Now, sound waves are similar to light waves in fact that they have a wavelength, okay? But light is an electromagnetic wave and doesn't have to touch anything. It can go through it. We see light from the sun even though it's millions of miles away. We, however, do not hear the sun because sound needs something to bounce off of. Sound is what's called a physical wave. Okay? And what happens is they need something to vibrate so that we can hear these things. All right? Our ears hear these vibrations and our brain puts them together as sounds. Again, our God is an amazing God who allows us to do this. Okay? Like he is a problem solver. He is an engineer. He knows how this happens. I have on the slide that Star Wars would be incredibly boring in real life. The Death Star would not explode. Lasers would not make that sweet, sweet sound in space. You would just see the laser shoot off. You would see the Death Star explode, but there would be no boom. Okay? Light, we would see it because light doesn't need anything to travel through, but sound needs something to travel through. And you can hear this if you put your ear on the table and then knock. You can hear that knocking fairly loudly if you put your ear on the table and then knock on it. All right? Now we have pitch and volume, okay? Just like we can only see certain parts of the electromagnetic spectrum, we can only hear certain things, all right? If you've ever had a dog whistle and you've blown that, you didn't hear a thing, but your dog came running, okay? There used to be an app a few years ago where people would play a sound that supposedly adults could not hear. I think you all were making that up and nobody heard it. Or that's a sure sign that I am in fact old. Okay? Now, pitch is the frequency of those sound waves. The closer they are together, the higher pitched that is. Okay? And you can think helium with this. Okay? When you suck in on a helium balloon, it stops the resistance in your vocal cords, and instead of slowing down like they do through the nitrogen and the oxygen in our air, they actually vibrate really quickly together, and you get a high-pitched helium sound. Okay? The lower that you are, the slower that those wavelengths are. They are further apart. Okay? Now, volume is the loudness or how strong a sound is. And again, loudness can travel a little bit further, right? Also, you've seen this before if you watched fireworks. Depending on how far away you are from the fireworks, you have seen the fireworks and then you have heard them. That is because light travels faster than sound does. Okay? So the further you are away from the fireworks, you see them and then boom, you sometimes feel them, and that can be felt by us, and that's the physical vibrations that you can feel. That's proof that sound is a a physical wave. Here is a chart that shows kind of everyday sounds that we like to hear. Okay, the smallest sound a person can hear is essentially zero. And this is if you have an incredibly nice sense of hearing and somebody makes a sound, like almost a pin drop, you can hear that. Okay, a whisper actually registers at 30 decibels to give you kind of a range of how that works. A refrigerator is at 40 decibels when it's running. Normal conversation, what I'm talking at right now is about 60. Okay, a hair dryer is a little louder than that. I don't know how old this is, but our dishwasher at home is actually incredibly quiet. Okay, so if we look here, and this is something that audio engineers take into account big time. Our great room was engineered to help keep sound down, and we have those sound dampening panels up in the roof, which kind of help absorb the sound energy. Which is another way that, like, if you scream into a pillow, it doesn't sound as loud. A subway platform is about 95 decibels. We don't really know that because we don't have a lot of subways. Okay, if you're listening to your iPod at 105 decibels, that's how loud it is at max volume. More than 15 minutes of this, okay, no more than 15 minutes is recommended. Okay, there are a lot of people that say young kids are suffering from hearing loss because of like earbuds. Okay, and that's kind of a big deal for us. A jackhammer, a rock concert, or a symphony orchestra is about 110 decibels. If you've ever left a really good concert, you know that your ears are ringing after that. Now, sometimes these things are loud on purpose, like an ambulance siren. It's loud because it is there to get your attention. It is not a pleasant sound. A jet taking off is about 140 decibels, and then a shotgun or a firecracker is about 140 to 165 decibels. If you start getting up here with a lot of things, you're going to get some hearing loss pretty quickly, and that's something that nowadays we're starting to take into a little bit more consideration. So I want you guys to go to your Flipgrid, and I want you guys to tell me the loudest sound that you have ever heard and whether you like it or not. Thank you guys. Miss you.